Foo Fighters are one of my favourite bands, and I've ranked every single one of their albums, and I've just realised that it's very controversial. You're probably going to be saying at the end, what is this list? But I'm going to try and explain myself, okay? So, in last place, we've got In Your Honour. And I don't like to put it here, but it does deserve it, because it was a 20 song album that had 10 electric guitar songs, 10 acoustic songs, and a lot of the electric guitar songs were actually really cool. But the acoustic ones were so boring. Yeah, the acoustic songs were so boring, it's really dragged this album down. And the way I've ranked this is I've got an entire ranking of every single Foo Fighters song in an album, and then I've taken the average. So of course, with 10 boring songs and some rubbish electric guitar songs, the average was really brought down into last place. You're probably thinking, this ranking, what's it all about? Well, you can see my ranking of all the Foo Fighters songs, which is the most recent video before this. In 10th place, we've got Echo Silence, Patience and Grace, their 2006, I think, album? No, their 2008 album. And this song had some really cool songs like The Pretender, which was my favourite one, and then Long Road to Ruin. But it also had many boring songs, like just really boring ones, which again dragged down the average. We're talking a lot about dragging down the average, because even if you have a few hits, which I have accounted for, by the way, when I was doing the average, I gave a little bonus to the song, to the albums that had the most songs in the top 20. The really cool songs, like The Pretender and stuff, but unfortunately the rest of the album just wasn't good enough. If I've not annoyed you yet, I'm probably going to annoy you here, because in 9th place we've got the first Foo Fighters album, and I know lots of people like this one just because it's the first, so maybe it's nostalgic for some people, and a lot of people like the grittiness of it and the dark, I guess you'd call it. I don't know, I like it. There's some really good songs like Oh George, For All the Cows, Big Me, This Is a Call, and I'll Stick Around. Those are all really cool songs, but it's also got some stuff like Weenie Beanie. What's that doing there? Like, I don't know, this album's just inconsistent, and although it's got some cool songs, it's also not necessarily an amazing album. It's good, but it's still 9th place. In 8th place we've got their 17 or 18 album, Concrete and Gold. So this album, again, has some really cool songs, but some really bad ones, again, drag it down. That's kind of the theme with these lower albums, so I've not got as much to talk about the Concrete and Gold album, except they really went with a different style, with songs like The Sky is a Neighborhood. It was really cool, and I like this a lot, actually. I'm probably going to annoy you here. In 7th place, we've got some people's favourite album. A lot of people put it in 2nd, I've heard. Either way, it's definitely not that high for me. We've got There Is Nothing Left to Lose. I know, it's got Learn to Fly, and it's got some other songs, but realistically, I think a lot of these songs are just, I don't like to use this word, but mid? Is that cringy? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they're all quite, mid-tier songs. I don't think it has many amazing songs. There's some cool ones like Headwires and Breakout, but a lot of them are just okay songs. And I don't know, I don't know why I don't like this album as much as other people, but don't get me wrong, it's still a great album, okay? It's still good, but yeah, it's just not as good as other people think it is. These are great albums now. One by One is in 6th place, and I really love One by One. It's got some really cool songs with Times Like These and All My Life, and then it's got some of the, really cool songs like Low, and then it's got some, okay songs like Halo, and Disenchanted Lullaby, stuff like that. But yeah, this album, really cool. It was kind of the change from the old 90s to the new 2000s Foo Fighters. I think they established their style with this album. What I'm trying to say is that the first album was one style, the second album was a bit of that style and a bit of a new style, and then I think the third album, There Is Nothing Left to Lose, was actually a very different style to the other two, and I think by now they'd found what they wanted to do, and it worked very well. But in 5th place, we've actually got, surprisingly, Medicine at Midnight. Now, when I was looking through the songs, I wasn't thinking this album's really amazing, because it doesn't even have a single song in the top 20. The best song is Cloud Spotter at 28th, in my opinion. This album's just really consistent, and consistency is key. Now, although the thing is, with an album you do want some of the hit. The way that I'm making this ranking, it does actually put the consistency above the hits, which is why I tried to introduce the hits bonus, which did push this actually, I think, from 4th to 5th. But either way, it's just a really consistent album. All the songs are pretty good. Again, surprising some people here, but we've got Sonic Highways in 4th. Now, this is an overhated album. I know people don't like it, but I love this song. It's a really, really cool style, I think. You know, the futuristic, but still, like, you know, quite retaining a lot of their old styles, adding some new styles into the mix. This album was really cool. I loved it. And my favourite song from this album was Outside. I think that song is incredible. And it got... I'm not going to spoil it. If you want to know where I ranked it, you can, you know, watch the ranking. Yeah. And that leaves 3rd place to Wasting Light. This album's got some of the biggest hits like Walk. It's also got some hidden gems like I Should Have Known. It's got some These Days kind of thing. Burning Bridges. Oh, this album's so good. It's consistent. It's also got really, really cool songs, really, like, good hits. And let's not forget White Limo. Yes, I did rank it like literally one of the worst Foo Fighters songs of all time, but let's just appreciate the fact that Dave Grohl recorded like a 3-minute, 4-minute song of just screaming. But 2nd place, what is 2nd place? You're probably thinking we've got Here We Are, their most recent album, and The Colour and the Shape, their most famous album. And I hate to say it, honestly now, I hate to say it, but in 2nd place we've got The Colour and the Shape. Yeah, the Colour and the Shape is in 2nd. I know people are going to go ballistic. People love The Colour and the Shape, and I do as well, which is why it's in 2nd. But Here We Are is in 1st. Before I talk about But Here We Are, The Colour and the Shape, their most famous album, it's got one of the best songs ever written, ever long. And it's got some massive hits like My Hero, Monkey Wrench, like hidden gems like Hey Johnny Park and Up in Arms. It's got like Walking After You, February Stars. It's an amazing album, but it's also got The Colour and the Shape, and it's got like Doll and stuff like that. Like I said, consistency is key, and this album has amazing songs, but it just has also like 3 or 4 absolutely terrible ones, and unfortunately, But Here We Are does get... By the way, when I say unfortunately, I love But Here We Are, I think it does deserve it, but I'm just thinking like, come on, everybody loves The Colour and the Shape, but no. 1st place is But Here We Are, and people aren't going to like it, I don't care. I think it does deserve it. It was very consistent. It's also got some of the best Foo Fighter songs ever written, like Beyond Me and Rescued, Hearing Voices, Under You. Oh, there's so many good songs on this album. In fact, yeah, this album deserves 1st place. I don't care what you say. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like down below. If you enjoyed my content, subscribe. Tell me your favourite album in the comments, and goodbye.